Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm sharing how to turn an Epson EchoTank into a sublimation printer. I am just getting into sublimation, so I will be sharing some of those projects along with my other content. I hope you find this video helpful, and I would love it if you subscribed if you are new to my channel. Inside the box, you'll find the printer, inkjet ink, a power cord, and instructions. If you are just getting into sublimation, there's a few different types of sublimation printers that will work. You can buy a sawgrass printer, which is specifically used for sublimation. I looked into it and it was more pricey. You can also convert certain inkjet printers to sublimation printers, which is what I'm doing in today's video. You can convert an Epson workforce printer, but I found that the Epson EchoTank seemed to be the easiest printer to convert. That is what I'm using here. There's several different models of this printer. I bought the 2760 model. A lot of them essentially do the same things, but some of them hold a larger paper size. The largest paper size mine holds is 8.5 by 14 inches. If you're wanting to get into sublimation for a business or just to print larger, I would highly recommend a model that prints on a larger paper size. The Epson EchoTank 15,000 is what I would recommend. I ended up buying my printer at Sam's, but you can find them different places. I'll try to find some links and put them in the description box. That was a lot of info all at once, but now I am taking the blue tape off of the printer. When removing the tape, there is a couple pieces on the inside, so you'll want to make sure you remove those before turning on your printer. Here's the ink that comes with your printer. This is for a regular inkjet printer. Do not put this in your Epson EchoTank. You never want to mix regular ink with sublimation ink. You want only sublimation ink inside of this printer. If you already have an Epson Workforce or an EchoTank and you've already used inkjet in it, then you'll need to completely flush out the ink. I'm not sure how to do that, but I'm sure there is a YouTube videos out there, but I thought it would be much easier to buy a new printer, and I need my other printer anyways for regular printing. I see some people just throwing this ink away, but that kind of makes me cringe because it's expensive, so I will either try to give it away or find somebody on Facebook Marketplace to be able to use this ink. So I did a lot of research on what type of sublimation ink I wanted to use. I narrowed it down to two between the Hippo ink or Cosmo ink. I decided on the Cosmo ink. I have not tested it out yet, but I've heard the quality of the colors is amazing. Also, they get points for this really pretty packaging. The Cosmo ink is $40 on their website for the set of black, yellow, magenta, and cyan. The black ink is 127 milliliters and the rest of the colors is 70 milliliters. The Hippo ink is on Amazon and it is $37.99 for 100 milliliters for the black and all colors. Hippo does have a less pricey version, which is $22.99, so about half the price for the same amount, but you have to use syringes to fill the tanks up, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I fill up the tanks. When I was doing my research, I also read that you should stick with one brand of ink instead of trying to mix the two different brands together. Before turning on the printer and getting it started, you'll want to add the ink to the tank. First, remove the top cap, then you can see the other lid or cap on top. Cosmo ink designed it so that it will fit directly into the EchoTank, which is amazing and part of the reason why I chose to go with the Cosmo ink. Next, remove the cap and poke a hole in the seal. You'll want to make it a pretty good size to let the ink flow out easier into the tank. When you're done, put the cap back on tight to help prevent any leaking. Then lift up the printer and the tank piece. I'm starting with the black ink. Lift up the blue tab and turn the bottle upside down and directly into that slot. You'll want to make sure you place each color into the corresponding color on the tank. You can hear the ink going into the tank. I also love that it has these windows to see how full your ink is. It took about a minute or less for the tank to fill up, and the ink automatically stopped once it's done. Then I just lift the bottle out of the tank. Next, I add the other colors, and I've already poked holes through the seal on all of these. Like I said earlier, one reason why I chose the Cosmo ink is because it fits directly on top of the tank. Other sublimation inks do not, and you have to use syringes to fill it, and it seems like a slower, kind of messier, and not as easy of a process to me. Hippo just came out with the bottles that fit directly on top also, so that would be another good brand to go with. If you've bought sublimation ink with syringes, I can link to a video down below showing how to use that. Carly Hall, another crafting and Cricut YouTuber, made a great video showing how to use the syringes. I grabbed a paper towel and wiped away any leakage from taking out the bottle, which there really wasn't too much. Now I'm ready to turn on my printer. I plug the power cord into the printer and then the wall, then turn on the power button. Here you'll just go through the prompts. First you'll select language, so I selected OK for English. Then it'll start preparing, which took it a couple minutes. It says see the start here sheet to complete initialization, so I pressed OK. Then it says fill the tanks with ink, which we already did, so I pressed the question mark for 3 seconds. After that, I'll hit the diamond to start the initialization process. The initialization process takes about 10 minutes. I believe the printer is filtering the ink through the printer during this process. Hit OK when it's done, and I decided to adjust the print quality later. I just hit OK here, and now that it's done, you'll want to print out a nozzle head check to make sure the ink is running through all the segments of the printer. So go to the maintenance tab and then press OK, then select OK again for nozzle check. It'll ask you to load letter size paper in the rear paper feed of printer. I'm just using regular copy paper. Then it tells me to select the little diamond for it to start printing. Looking at the paper here, there are a few breaks in some of the lines in those colors. So I decided to select yes for missing segments and yes for a print head cleaning, and that should take care of it. You can either hit finish or do another nozzle check. I decided to do finish because that should take care of that. Then I go back to my regular screen and go into my Wi-Fi to set up my Wi-Fi settings for my printer. I scrolled through to find the Wi-Fi tab and follow the prompts to set that up. After it searched, it found my Wi-Fi name, which I didn't want to show on here, and you'll select that and have to type in your Wi-Fi password, but you'll just go through the prompts through that. Now I'm going to add my printer into my computer. I have my Epson Workforce in here, which is the printer that I use for my inkjet printer. I'm using a Mac, so it'll be different on a Windows computer. I'm going to select the plus sign. Then I'm going to select the Epson ET2760 and I will select add. Now I'm going to set up my printer on my computer. I'm going to go up to the search bar and type in epson.com. Then I'm going to go over to search and I'm going to search for my Epson EchoTank printer model, which is 2760. And it'll pop up on the side. You can see Ecotank ET2760, and I'm going to select support. Then I'm going to scroll down right here where it says drivers and utilities combo package installer. That's what you'll want to install onto your computer, so I'm going to select download. Then it'll bring it down here. Also, I forgot to mention I am on a Mac computer, but it'll be a very similar process for a Windows computer. I'm going to select down here. Now I'm going to click open. Then I'm going to go through the process here. I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to hit continue again, and then I'll hit agree. On this screen, all I really want is the Epson drivers and utilities, so I'm going to uncheck the user's guide, then I'll hit install. Here I'm just going to hit yes. Then it'll start downloading the software. Now that that is done, I'll hit start. I already filled up the tanks with ink and followed this whole process, so I'm going to click the checkbox to confirm the ink is charged, then I'll hit continue. I'm going to be selecting the wireless connection, which I already set up on my printer, so it should connect to that, so I'll hit continue again. And I've already set up the printer, so I am going to check the printer is already on wireless network since I already did that on the printer. And it said it was found, so now I'm going to hit continue. Then I'll hit start network setup. It's asking me to add the printer, and I've already done that, so now I'll hit continue. I'm just going to select Epson. Now I'm going to print a test page, and then I'll hit continue. For now, I'm going to hit no for registering, and I'll hit continue again. I'll just hit continue. Actually, I'm just going to skip that part. And now it says your software installation and printer setup are complete. Here's the sheet it printed saying you have successfully installed your new printer. Another thing that I want to show you here is that when you purchase your Cosmo ink, you'll get an email with a download. So in the email, it'll have a link. I clicked on that and it pulled up this screen on their website. And this is for your color profile. So with sublimation, you want your colors on your printer screen to match well with what prints on your printer. And Cosmo Ink created a color profile that actually works with their Cosmic ink. When you install your printer onto your computer, like we just did, it does have a standard color profile that pops up. You can use that, and Cosmo Ink says you can, but you can also use the color profile that they have created. So I'll show you how to set that up on a Mac. Cosmo Ink has also created a YouTube video on how to set this up on a Windows computer, so I will link that video down below if you have a Windows, because the process is different. So I will have all of that information down in the description box. But what I'm going to do is hit download now. Then it's going to show up down here, which will pop up in my downloads folder. I opened up my Finder, and here is the Cosmo Ink download. And now I need to add that to my profile on my computer. So to do that, I'm going to go over to my Macintosh HD. Then I'm going to select Library. Then I'm going to go over to Color Sync. Sometimes I like to look at it like this, actually. So I'm on Library, Color Sync, then I'm going to select Profile. Here's my color profiles that I already have, and now I'm going to add the Cosmo Ink profile. I'm going to open up another Finder window. I'm just going to do New Finder Window. Now I'm in my downloads. I'm just going to drag my color profile over here. I'm going to make this bigger, and now you can see the Cosmo Ink is underneath my color profile. And when you use this is when you are making a sublimation project and you go to print, then you can select the Cosmo Ink color profile before you hit print. The last thing I want to mention is on the Cosmo Ink website, they have YouTube videos as well on how to go through this whole process. And on the video, they show how to set up your printer preferences. With sublimation, there's a few changes that you need to make before you print. You need to mirror your design and select a specific paper type and things like that. And in his video, he set up a default settings where it'll print like that every time. And I cannot figure out how to do this on a Mac computer. If anyone that has a Mac And if you know how to go to your printer settings and change those and set it as a default, let me know. And I hope that's making sense. I'll leave a video down below if you have a Windows computer, because he does show with the Windows computer the whole process of installing your printer into your computer, how to set up those certain preferences in your printer settings, which I have not figured out with the Mac, and how to do the color profile on a Windows. So I'll leave his video linked down below as well. That was a lot of information, so let me know if you have any questions. Also, I will leave a link for the Cosmo ink in my description box, and I'll leave a link to the website because they have all their info on there, and they are very user-friendly and very helpful with getting everything set up. And definitely watch out for some sublimation project videos coming soon. I hope you enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did, and I would love it if you subscribe to my channel if you are new.